Hey guys, how are you doing this week? Mrs. Robinson here for Science for week 2. This is your first little video for today, a little video greeting, a howdy, and just to give you some particulars so that the week goes nice and smooth for you. So let me kind of look at my little notes so I don't miss anything. You will have 2 lessons this week like you had last week, lesson 1, lesson 2. So you'll kind of follow through very detailed when you read that, easy to follow. I do need to stress something though, guys, when you're working. So let me move over to my practice class, my sample class. And remember that you're always working in classwork up here. A stream is where I'll put an announcement. But right now in classwork, you'd be working in week 2 and everything will be there very similar to last week. But one thing you need to make very care of or be careful of is if you've got a task like a Google form or an assignment to turn in, you actually have to turn it in 2 places. So submitting at the bottom in this case for the Google form, but you also have to go back and there's a turn in button on the actual Google Classroom portion as well. So if that sounds real confusing, I understand. So I've given you a resource. So over here in the topics column, over here where the other is, where I actually have our birthday class list. Are 2 videos that Mrs. Spradling made. One about how to turn in everything properly, because this week I want to make sure everything's happening correctly. Last week we had some issues. And then there's a video about how to use the Zoom technology, because I'd like to use that as well this week. And speaking of Zoom, you'll have to fill out a Google form permission slip for that. And I have, in class appropriate type expectations while we're videographing. Tomorrow I'd like to do a live Zoom just to be kind of fun and just carefree. So I'll post that link tomorrow in the stream. But that'll be just kind of saying hi to each other and waving and chit chatting, and we'll have a little fun tomorrow as far as that goes. So I mentioned our 2 lessons. I talked to you about turning in correctly. And then just very quickly, I just want to talk to you about our topic for the week. We are actually talking about ecology and biodiversity. The organisms that we have on the planet all have a niche or a role, very important. And we don't want this house of cards representing an ecosystem, to be collapsing. So all organisms are important, even the ones we don't like. And remember from your early science days gone by, that you've got food chains and more complex food webs. Pay attention to the arrows that show you the flow of energy. Um, Sunlight to the producer, to the primary consumer, working your way to the top tertiary consumer predator. They can become very complex. Always pay attention to the arrows. And remember that actually our big focus this week is living and non-living factors. That's biotic and abiotic factors that you have in your vocabulary that you're going to use this week. So when I look at this food web with the cute little bunny rabbit and the lizard, I know that there's competition going on, and I know that organisms depend on one another. That's relationships that happen in an ecosystem. So the rabbit depends on the grass for survival. That's its only food source. The lizard depends on the grasshoppers. There's competition between the mice and the grasshopper for plants. The snakes are competing for their habitat. Rabbits are competing for mates. There's all sorts of competitions and dependencies going on. That lizard is going to compete for space or the warmest rock. So there's living and non-living things going on in terms of competition and dependence. That's our focus for the week. So just a quick little teach piece, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for the live classroom piece in Zoom. I'll send out a link, and have a good day. Bye, guys.